You trusted someone who smiled at you while speaking against you behind your back. You gave that person access to parts of your life that you did not open to everyone. And they used that trust to work against your peace, your future, and your finances. You cried about it in private, wondering why someone you had supported had suddenly become cold toward you. My beloved child, listen carefully. What happened in secret has not remained hidden from God. The conversations, the manipulation, the quiet plans, and the changes in people's behavior were all seen. What confused you was never hidden from Him. I am the Lord your God. I have watched every part of this situation, and I have not been absent for even a moment. You thought you were simply going through another difficult season, but I was watching what was happening around you. I saw the meetings you knew nothing about. I heard the words spoken when you were not in the room. I saw the jealousy that hid behind smiles and the envy that disguised itself as concern. Now I am bringing what was concealed into the light. You felt the distance. You noticed when warmth became silence, and when people who once encouraged you stopped showing up for you. You wondered whether you had done something wrong. You questioned why certain relationships suddenly changed. But I want you to understand that every closed door was not necessarily a punishment, and every person who walked away was not necessarily a loss. Some things were being removed because I was protecting what comes next. You cried when you could not understand why you were being opposed. You asked me why people were turning against you. You wondered why the same people who knew your heart could speak about you with such cruelty. I saw those tears. I heard the prayers you could barely put into words. I heard you in the middle of the night when you had no one else to call. You were never abandoned. If you know God carried you through a season you thought would break you, type Amen in the comments. Let that word be your simple declaration that you are still standing, still believing, and still moving forward. The battle surrounding you was greater than what your natural eyes could see, and you were never meant to carry every part of it yourself. I assigned Archangel Michael to stand in the spiritual battle around you. While you were trying to understand what was happening on the surface, there were things being confronted in the unseen realm. That is why you are still standing. There were attacks you never recognized. There were traps you never saw. There were things that could have reached you, but did not, because I intervened before you knew they were coming. You may have thought you simply escaped a difficult situation, but I know how close some of those situations came to causing deeper damage. You survived because my hand was with you. You are not forgotten. You are not discarded. You are favored, and I am still the God who delivers, heals, restores, and makes a way where there seems to be none. The person who worked against you wanted their influence to remain hidden. They wanted you to doubt yourself, while they continued operating behind the scenes. But I am breaking the power of those hidden strategies. I am removing the influence that their words once had over your mind. You will not spend the rest of your life wondering what they said about you. You will not remain chained to their opinions. You will not have to keep defending yourself to people who have already decided what they want to believe. I know the truth. And when I bring truth into the light, you do not need to fight for it. I have seen every word spoken against you. I have seen every attempt to interfere with your progress. I have seen people smile in your presence, and then turn around and speak differently when you were gone. I saw the jealousy. I saw the manipulation. I saw the attempts to discourage you and delay what you were building. But their plans do not determine your future. I determine your future. The same place where you experienced rejection can become a place of testimony. The same area of your life where you experienced loss can become the place where restoration becomes visible. The very situation that made you wonder whether your story was ending can become the evidence that your story was only changing direction. You thought you were being pushed backward. I was positioning you. You thought a delay meant I had forgotten you. I was protecting you from something you could not see. That job that never called you back may have been connected to circumstances you were never meant to enter. That friendship that disappeared may have been one I was removing from your path. That relationship you kept trying to preserve may have been attached to a chapter that had already ended. You wanted an explanation. I was preparing separation. Not every person who begins a journey with you is meant to finish it with you. Not everyone who has access to your life has permission to enter your next season. Some doors have to close before other doors can open. So do not keep reopening doors that I have already closed. Do not chase people I have removed. Do not keep asking for acceptance from those who could not recognize what I placed inside you. There is a reason you had to walk through some seasons with fewer people around you. There is a reason you became quieter. There is a reason you learned to pray when no one else understood what you were carrying. I was teaching you to recognize my voice. I was strengthening your faith. And I was preparing you for something that could not be entrusted to the version of you that existed before the trial. Think about Joseph. His own brothers betrayed him, yet the betrayal that looked like the end of his future became part of the path that led him into a position he could never have reached by staying where he was. What others intended for harm did not have the final word over his life. Your circumstances do not have the final word over yours. You may have felt buried beneath rejection, disappointment, financial pressure, and betrayal, but a seed looks buried before it begins to rise. What looked like burial was not necessarily destruction. There was preparation happening underneath the surface. You have spent enough time surviving. I am teaching you how to live from faith instead of fear. You have spent enough nights wondering whether your needs would be met. You have carried concerns about bills, opportunities, work, relationships, and your future. I have heard those concerns. I know what you need. And I am bringing provision into places where you could not create it by your own strength. Expect your circumstances to begin changing in ways you could not have arranged yourself. There may be a call you did not expect, an opportunity you could not have predicted, an approval that seemed unlikely, or a financial door that finally opens after a long period of waiting. Do not worship the provision. Recognize the provider. When the answer comes, remember the one who carried you while you were still waiting for it. Your breakthrough does not need to arrive according to the schedule you imagined. My timing is not careless. Even the delays you hated can become part of the protection you later understand. There were blessings I kept away from you because the wrong people were too close to them. There were opportunities I delayed because they would have connected you to people who did not have your best interests at heart. There were things you called losses that were actually forms of protection. You did not lose everything. You were rescued from some things. And now I am preparing you for connections that carry peace rather than confusion, relationships that strengthen rather than drain, opportunities that expand rather than imprison, and favor that does not require you to compromise who you are. You are entering a season where divine connections can replace relationships that were built on manipulation. I am clearing space. I am making room. I am removing what cannot remain and preparing what can. Do not be afraid of the empty space. Sometimes an empty room is evidence that something new is being prepared for it. I know you wanted certain people to stay. I know you wanted some doors to open. I know you hoped certain situations would turn out differently. But I see what you could not see. I knew what was happening behind the smile. I knew what was being said after you left. I knew what was being planned while you were still offering kindness. And I did not allow their hidden intentions to become the final story of your life. The same person who thought they were delaying you may have become part of the reason you were redirected towards something better. That does not mean their actions were right. It means their actions will not have the victory they expected. I can take what was intended to wound you and use it as part of your growth. I can take rejection and turn it into redirection. I can take disappointment and use it to deepen your discernment. I can take the season that made you cry and turn it into the season where you learn how strong your faith has become. You do not have to become bitter because someone treated you badly. Forgiveness does not mean pretending the betrayal did not happen. It means refusing to let the betrayal own the rest of your life. Let me deal with what they did. You do not need revenge. You do not need to expose every person. You do not need to spend your energy proving that you were right. I know. My beloved child, I want your heart free enough to receive what is coming next. If your hands remain closed around yesterday's pain, you will have difficulty receiving tomorrow's blessing. Release them. Release the conversation you keep replaying. Release the words that wounded you. Release the need to know every detail of what happened behind your back. I will give you the wisdom you need without requiring you to carry the weight of their actions. There is a difference between discernment and obsession. Discernment helps you walk wisely. Obsession keeps you staring at the people you were supposed to leave behind. Look forward. I am leading you forward. Your peace will become stronger than their accusations. Your fruit will speak louder than their rumors. Your life will eventually answer questions. You are tired of answering with words. You will not need to chase validation. You will not need to convince everyone. You will simply continue walking. There is a new level of clarity coming into your mind. You will begin to recognize who belongs in your life and who does not. You will become less impressed by words and more attentive to fruit. You will stop confusing familiarity with loyalty. King, I am teaching you wisdom. King, and wisdom will protect you from repeating the same patterns. King, the person who tried to interfere with your future cannot cancel what I have ordained for you. Their opinion cannot erase your purpose. Their jealousy cannot remove what I have placed in your hands. Their words cannot rewrite the destiny I have established. King, I knew you before they knew you. King, I called you before they had an opinion about you. King, I loved you before they ever had the opportunity to hurt you. King, so do not allow someone else's rejection to become your identity. King, you are my beloved child. King, you are chosen for a purpose. King, you are being refined, strengthened, and prepared. King, there are things in you that were formed precisely because you had to endure seasons you never would have chosen. Your compassion grew because you knew pain. Your discernment grew because you experienced deception. Your patience grew because you had to wait. King, your dependence on me grew because there were moments when people could not help you. King, nothing has been wasted. King, even the tears you thought nobody noticed were seen. King, even the prayers you could not finish were heard. King, even the nights when all you could say was, God, I trust you, mattered. King, those quiet moments were not insignificant. King, they were part of your formation. King, and now the atmosphere around your life is beginning to change. King, where there has been anxiety, I am bringing peace. King, where there has been confusion, I am bringing clarity. King, where there has been financial pressure, I am making room for provision. King, where there has been emotional exhaustion, I am bringing restoration. King, where there has been fear about tomorrow, I am teaching you to trust me one step at a time. King, do not demand that you understand the entire road before taking the next step. King, I will illuminate what you need when you need it. King, you have asked me, when will this change? King, you have asked, how will I get out of this? King, you have asked, why did this happen? King, and now I am answering you through movement. King, you will begin to see things shift. King, a conversation will change. King, a connection will appear. King, a door will open. King, a delayed matter will move. King, a financial burden will begin to lift. King, a peace you thought you had lost will return. King, do not dismiss small signs of progress simply because they are not yet the final result. King, a river begins with a source. King, a harvest begins with a seed. King, a journey begins with one step. King, your restoration can begin quietly before it becomes visible to everyone else. King, and while I am restoring you, I am also protecting you. King, Archangel Michael remains part of the spiritual picture surrounding your life. The battle may have felt intense, but you have never been left without protection. King, no weapon formed against you will have the final victory. King, every accusation does not become a verdict. King, every rejection does not become your destiny. King, every closed door does not mean you have been forgotten. King, you are still here. King, that matters. King, you are still praying. King, that matters. King, you are still able to believe after everything you have experienced. King, that matters. King, there was a time when you thought the pain would break you. Instead, it taught you where your strength truly comes from. King, you are beginning to understand that you cannot control what other people choose to do, but you can choose what you will carry forward. King. Carry faith. King. Carry wisdom. King. Carry mercy. King. Carry courage. King. Leave revenge behind. King. The person who hurt you may eventually face the consequences of their choices, but that is not your assignment. Your assignment is to become everything I have called you to become. King. Your blessing is larger than the person who opposed you. King. Your future is larger than the betrayal. King. Your purpose is larger than the accusation. King. And the people connected to your future will benefit from the healing you choose today. King. Your breakthrough will not only change your circumstances, it can become a testimony that gives someone else courage to keep going. King. That is why I have preserved you. King. You are not being restored merely so you can say you survived. King. You are being restored so your life can become evidence of my faithfulness. King. You have been through the fire, but the fire did not consume you. King. You have walked through uncertainty, but uncertainty did not erase your faith. King. You have experienced betrayal, but betrayal did not have the authority to define you. King. Now keep moving. King. The chapter ahead requires a different posture. King. You cannot enter a new season while constantly looking backward at the people who tried to destroy the previous one. King. Bless them from a distance if you must. King. Forgive them. King. Learn from what happened. King. Then continue. King. I am closing certain doors because I know what is on the other side of them. King. I am opening others because I know what is waiting there. King. And when the right opportunities arrive, you will understand why some of the wrong ones had to disappear. King. Your story is still moving. King. Your future is still intact. King. Your faith still has purpose. King. And the God who kept you through the hidden battle is not finished with you yet. King. If this message is speaking to something you have quietly carried, you can simply leave a comment saying, Amen. Let it be a gentle expression of faith, not pressure. Just a reminder to yourself that you are choosing to move forward with God rather than remain trapped in King. Yesterday. King. Now listen closely, because there is more I want you to understand about what this battle has been producing in you. King. You were never only being protected from an enemy. King. You were being prepared for an assignment. King. You have passed the test. King. You have endured seasons that could have changed your heart. Yet you kept reaching for God. You kept praying when the answers seemed far away. You kept trusting when circumstances gave you reasons to give up. And now you are standing at the edge of something different. King. The season ahead will require focus, faith, and fire. King. You have all three because they were formed in you through what you survived. King. My beloved child, I want you to understand something important. The battle was never only about the person who betrayed you. Their actions revealed something deeper about your calling. They thought they were attacking your peace, your finances, your reputation, and your future. King. But they were also revealing how much you had grown. King. You learned to recognize what you once ignored. King. You learned that kindness does not mean giving everyone unlimited access to your life. You learned that forgiveness does not require you to remain close to someone who continually harms you. You learned that loving people and trusting them are not always the same thing. King. That wisdom will protect you in the next chapter. King. The person who tried to hold you back believed that your progress depended on their approval. They thought their words could determine how others saw you. They thought their influence could interfere with your opportunities. But they misunderstood where your future comes from. Your future does not rest in human hands. I am the one who opens doors. I am the one who can create a way where there was no way. I am the one who can move circumstances that looked immovable. So stop measuring your future by the people who rejected you. Stop measuring your value by the people who misunderstood you. Stop looking at the closed door as though it were the final verdict over your life. There are doors you never needed to enter. There are rooms where you were never meant to remain. There are relationships whose expiration you were resisting because you were afraid of what life would look like without them. But I knew. I knew what they carried. I knew what they intended. I knew what their presence would eventually cost you. That is why some things were removed before you understood why. You called it abandonment. I called it protection. You called it rejection. I called it redirection. You called it delay. I was preparing acceleration. Now your eyes are beginning to open. You are beginning to see that the pain did not have the authority you once gave it. It hurt you, but it did not own you. The betrayal wounded you, but it did not destroy your purpose. And I am healing what was wounded. I am restoring your confidence. I am rebuilding your ability to trust wisely. I am giving you discernment without making you suspicious of everyone. You do not need to live afraid that every person around you is secretly against you. That is not freedom. Freedom is knowing that even when someone acts against you, their actions cannot overthrow my purpose for your life. That is the confidence I am building in you. You can walk into a room without wondering who is talking about you. You can pursue an opportunity without worrying who might become jealous. You can receive a blessing without apologizing for it. You can prosper without feeling guilty because someone else did not. You can move forward without constantly checking behind you. The people who wanted to see you fail will not be able to stop what I have determined to accomplish through you. Some of them may watch. Some may question. Some may even regret walking away. But that is not why I am blessing you. I am not restoring you so that you can make your enemies jealous. I am restoring you because you have a purpose. Your healing is bigger than their reaction. Your peace is more valuable than their regret. Your future matters more than their opinion. And your testimony will be stronger when it comes from a heart that has been healed, rather than a heart still looking for revenge. That is why I keep calling you back to forgiveness. Forgive, but remember what you learned. Release the offense, but keep the wisdom. Let go of the bitterness, but do not ignore the lesson. You can love someone without returning to the same environment that wounded you. You can pray for someone without giving them access to everything God is building in your life. You can wish them well and still walk away. That is maturity. That is freedom. That is how you keep your heart clean. My beloved child, I know there are still moments when the memory of what happened returns unexpectedly. You remember a conversation. You remember the way someone looked at you. You remember how they acted as though everything was fine while knowing what they were doing. Sometimes the memory still tightens your chest. Sometimes you still wonder how someone you trusted could treat you that way. But healing is coming into those places. The memory may remain, but the pain will no longer control you. You will remember without being pulled backward. You will think about what happened without losing your peace. You will tell your story without reliving every wound. And one day you will realize that the thing that once caused you to cry became one of the things God used to strengthen your discernment. The enemy wanted the betrayal to become your identity. God is turning it into part of your testimony. There is a difference. You were hurt, but you are not defined by the hurt. You were betrayed, but you are not a betrayed person forever. You experienced loss, but loss does not determine your future. You struggled financially, but financial struggle does not become your permanent identity. You were rejected, but rejection does not have the final word. I am changing the language you use about yourself. You have spent too long saying, I am behind. You have spent too long saying, I missed my opportunity. You have spent too long thinking, everyone else is moving forward except me. I want you to stop making temporary circumstances into permanent declarations. Your current situation is not the whole story. There are things moving that you cannot see yet. There are conversations happening that you do not know about. There are opportunities developing outside your current view. There are people you have not met who may become important connections in your future. There are doors that have not opened because the timing has not arrived. Do not assume silence means nothing is happening. Joseph could not see the palace while he was in the prison. Esther could not see the outcome while danger surrounded her people. The Red Sea did not look like a road until the moment God made a way through it. And I am still the God who makes ways where people see obstacles. I am still the God who closes the mouth of lions. I am still the God who divided the Red Sea. I am still the God who multiplied the loaves. I am still able to take what appears impossible and bring it into reality. So do not allow your present circumstances to make you forget my past faithfulness. Remember what I have already brought you through. There were moments you thought you would not survive, yet you did. There were nights you thought the anxiety would overwhelm you, yet morning came. There were situations you thought had no solution, yet somehow you found another step. There were people you thought you could never live without, yet you learned to continue. There were things you thought would destroy your future, yet you are still here. That is evidence. Not evidence that life will never be difficult again, but evidence that difficulty does not automatically mean defeat. You have already seen me make a way. Trust me to lead you again. And now I am dealing with the financial pressure that has weighed on you. You have prayed about your finances. You have asked for relief. You have asked for provision. You have wondered how the bills would be covered and how you would recover from what was lost. King, I know. King, I saw every calculation you made. King, I saw you trying to stretch what you had. King, I saw the moments when you looked at your account and wondered how you would make everything work. King, I saw you remain faithful while feeling uncertain about the future. King, now I am bringing you into a different understanding of provision. King, the answer may not arrive in the form you expected. King, it may come through an opportunity. King, it may come through a delayed payment finally being released. King, it may come through work, a contract, a promotion, an unexpected connection, or another legitimate source of provision. King, but when it comes, remember to give thanks rather than fear the next shortage. King, do not allow the memory of scarcity to prevent you from receiving abundance with wisdom. King, I am teaching you not only how to receive, but how to steward. King, your finances will require wisdom in the season ahead. King, do not spend simply because something finally came. King, do not make decisions from the emotional exhaustion of the past. King, use what you receive with understanding. King, build. King, save. King, give wisely. King, plan. King, and remember that provision is not merely about having more money. It is about having peace, wisdom, stability, and the ability to use what you have for a meaningful purpose. King, I can restore more than your bank account. King, I can restore your peace around money. King, I can restore your confidence. King, I can restore your ability to think clearly about your future. King, I can restore opportunities that you thought were permanently gone. King, there are delayed things beginning to move. King, there are doors that were closed beginning to open. King, there are conversations that will create new possibilities. King, and some of the answers will come from directions you never expected. King, that is why you must remain attentive. King, do not become so focused on the person who hurt you that you fail to notice the person I am sending to help you. King, do not spend so much energy studying the closed door that you overlook the open one. King, do not keep staring at yesterday while tomorrow is approaching. King, your focus must change. King, you have been looking backward because you wanted an explanation. King, now I want you to look forward because you have an assignment. King, there are people you are going to encourage because of what you survived. King, there are people who will listen to your story and realize they can keep going. King, there are people who will find hope because you refused to let betrayal turn you into a bitter person. King, your pain can become a place from which compassion flows. King, your wisdom can protect someone else. King, your testimony can give courage to someone who is currently standing where you once stood. King, that is why your blessing is bigger than you. King, your breakthrough can affect your family. King, your restoration can influence your children. King, your stability can change what is possible for the generations that come after you. King, you are not simply being restored for yourself. King, you are being prepared to carry something that can bless others. King, this is why I have been strengthening you. King, this is why I allowed certain seasons to expose what was hidden. King, this is why I taught you to discern. King, this is why I have been asking you to release bitterness. King, a person carrying unforgiveness cannot easily carry what I am preparing to place in their hands. King, so let the burden go. King, you do not have to know exactly how justice will happen. King, you do not have to monitor the person who hurt you. King, you do not need updates about their life. King, you do not need to celebrate their difficulties. King, leave them with me. King, mia es la venganza, dice el Señor. King, you do not need to fight every battle yourself. King, be still and trust me to deal with what you cannot control. King, there is strength in restraint. King, there is power in refusing to respond to every accusation. King, there is wisdom in silence when your words would only create another conflict. King, I am teaching you when to speak and when to walk away. King, and when the time comes for you to speak, your words will carry clarity instead of anger. King, the person who wanted to control your future will eventually discover that they never had that authority. King, they could influence a conversation. King, they could spread an opinion. King, they could create temporary confusion. King, but they could not cancel what I placed inside you. King, they could not erase your calling. King, they could not remove my hand from your life. King, they could not take away what I have ordained for you. King, this is why I want you to stop being afraid of what people might say. King, people can talk. King, people can misunderstand. King, people can believe rumors. King, but truth does not become false because someone refuses to accept it. King, your life will eventually produce its own evidence. King, you do not need to defend every chapter while you are still living it. King, keep walking. King, keep building. King, keep praying. King, keep becoming. King, let your fruit answer what your words cannot. King, and while you move forward, remember that your identity comes from me. King, I am not calling you by the names people used when they were angry with you. King, I am not defining you by the rejection you experienced. King, I am not defining you by the mistake you made. King, I am not defining you by the season in which you struggled. King, you are my beloved child. King, you are chosen. King, you are protected. King, you are being restored. King, and you have a purpose that is larger than the opinions of people who could not recognize it. King, you may have heard people call you difficult, too sensitive, too ambitious, too hopeful, too spiritual, or simply different. King, do not let their labels become your prison. King, I know who I created you to be. King, there is a reason you could not fit comfortably into certain environments. King, there is a reason certain conversations stopped satisfying you. King, there is a reason you began wanting something deeper. King, you are growing. King, and growth often changes what feels comfortable. King, do not return to an old environment simply because the new one feels unfamiliar. King, you are learning to walk in a different level of wisdom. King, the next chapter will not look exactly like the previous one. King, some people will not understand your boundaries. King, some will say you have changed. King, they are right. King, you have changed. King, you have learned. King, you have matured. King, you have survived things that changed the way you see life. King, and you do not need to apologize for becoming wiser. King, my beloved child, there is also a spiritual dimension to what you have experienced. The source material around you may have been physical, words, relationships, financial pressure, rejection. But the battle affected your emotions, your confidence, your peace, and your faith. That is why you felt exhausted. You were carrying more than the visible circumstances. But now I am teaching you to stop fighting from fear. Put on spiritual strength. Stand firm. Remember that you belong to me. Archangel Michael is associated with the battle and protection surrounding you, but your confidence must remain in God. Do not place your trust in signs, people, predictions, or fear. Place your trust in me. I am your refuge. I am your shield. I am your provider. I am your guide. And I am the one who can lead you through what you cannot understand. The revelation you have been waiting for is not meant to make you obsessed with another person's identity. It is meant to make you free. The name, the truth, the realization, whatever becomes clear to you, must lead you toward peace, not hatred. You do not need to become consumed by discovering who did what. You need to become free from the effect it had on you. That is the real victory. When you can walk away without bitterness, you have won something more valuable than an argument. When you can see someone who hurt you and no longer feel controlled by the memory, you have experienced freedom. When you can receive a blessing without wondering whether someone will be jealous, you have recovered your confidence. When you can love again without abandoning wisdom, you have healed. That is where I am taking you. The same person who caused you to question yourself will no longer determine how you see yourself. The same betrayal that once made you feel powerless will eventually become one of the clearest reminders that you survived. You will look back and realize that the person you became after the pain was stronger, wiser, and more discerning than the person who entered that season. And you will understand why I did not allow the story to end there. Your story continued. If you believe your story is not over, write "My story is still moving forward" in the comments. Let your words mark the decision to stop living in yesterday and start expecting what God can still do through your life. Your faith continued. Your purpose continued. And now your restoration is continuing. There are moments coming when you will receive news that changes your outlook. You may get a phone call you were not expecting. You may open an email and discover that something has finally moved. You may receive an approval. You may meet someone who opens a door. You may see a financial burden begin to lift. You may experience healing in an area that has remained painful. Do not build your faith around one specific method of receiving an answer. Build your faith around the character of God. The method may surprise you. The timing may surprise you. The person involved may surprise you. But you can remain steady. I am still working. And when the change begins, do not forget the season in which you learned to trust me without seeing the outcome. That season was preparing you for this one. You once prayed for strength. Now you are discovering that strength was being developed through endurance. You prayed for wisdom. Now you recognize why you had to experience situations that forced you to discern. You prayed for peace. King. Now you understand why you had to learn not to depend on other people's approval. King. You prayed for provision. King. Now you are learning how to steward what comes next. King. Nothing was wasted. King. Even the difficult lessons are becoming tools. King. You are becoming someone who can carry greater responsibility without being destroyed by it. King. And that matters because the blessing you are asking for requires a stronger version of you to carry it. King. You cannot simply receive more and remain the same. King. More responsibility requires more wisdom. King. More influence requires more character. King. More resources require better stewardship. King. More visibility requires greater discernment. King. That is why I have been working on you while you were asking me to change your circumstances. King. I was changing both. King. Your circumstances will shift, but so will you. King. And that transformation will protect what I am bringing into your life. King. You will no longer be as easily manipulated. King. You will recognize when someone's words and actions do not agree. King. You will notice when a relationship continually produces confusion instead of peace. King. You will stop chasing people who only value you when you are useful to them. King. You will learn that peace is not something you should continually sacrifice just to keep someone close. King. And you will understand that saying no can sometimes be an act of wisdom. King. The next season requires boundaries. King. It requires courage. King. It requires you to believe that losing access to certain people is not the same as losing your future. King. Some people were comfortable with the version of you who had no boundaries. King. They may resist when you begin protecting your peace. King. Let them. King. You do not need everyone to understand your growth. King. You need to remain faithful to what God is teaching you. King. There is a new level of confidence coming. King. Not arrogance. King. Not pride. King. Confidence rooted in knowing who you are and whose you are. King. You will walk differently. King. You will speak differently. King. You will make decisions differently. King. And people who knew the old version of you may not understand the new one. King. That is okay. King. You are not required to remain who you were simply to make other people comfortable. King. Keep moving. King. The battle did not destroy you. King. It prepared you. King. The betrayal did not cancel you. King. It exposed what needed to be removed. King. The delay did not mean the promise disappeared. King. It gave you time to become ready. King. The financial pressure did not prove that you were forgotten. King. It taught you endurance, stewardship, and dependence. King. And now the next chapter is beginning to open. King. You have spent enough time asking why they did it. King. Now ask what you will do with what you learned. King. You have spent enough time wondering whether they regret it. King. Now focus on what God is building in you. King. You have spent enough time looking at the person who walked away. King. Now look at the path opening ahead. King. There is still work to do. King. There are prayers to pray. King. There are decisions to make. King. There are opportunities to recognize. King. There are people to help. King. There is a future to build. King. And you cannot build that future while carrying every piece of yesterday in your hands. King. Release it. King. Let God handle what belongs to God. King. and take responsibility for what belongs to you. King. Your response. King. Your choices. King. Your boundaries. King. Your faith. King. Your obedience. King. Your healing. King. Your next step. King. That is where your power is. King. And as you take that next step, remember this. The person who tried to bury you did not realize they were standing near a seed. King. The season of being hidden is changing. King. The season of being prepared is producing fruit. King. The season of constantly explaining yourself is coming to an end. King. Your life will begin speaking for you. King. And when it does, you will not need to celebrate anyone else's downfall. King. You will simply thank God that you were preserved. King. Because the greatest evidence of restoration will not be watching someone else lose. King. It will be seeing yourself whole again. King. Peaceful again. King. Focused again. King. Hopeful again. King. Able to love again. King. Able to trust wisely again. King. Able to dream again. King. That is the restoration I want for you. King. And that is where we continue from here. King. You have passed the test. King. You have walked through dry seasons and still kept your faith. You have experienced betrayal and still chose not to become cruel. You have been disappointed, yet you kept praying. You were wounded, yet you continued believing that your life could still become something beautiful. King. That matters. King. The pain did not have the final word. King. I have been watching what has happened inside you, not only what happened around you. I saw the moments when you wanted to give up. I saw the nights when you questioned whether I had forgotten you. I saw the tears you wiped away before anyone else could notice. King. And I heard you say, I trust you, God, even when you did not understand what I was doing. King. Those moments marked your destiny. King. You may not have realized it at the time, but your faith was being strengthened in places no one else could see. While you were asking me to change your circumstances, I was also changing you. King. That is why the weight you carried was not meaningless. King. The heaviness was not always punishment. King. Some of it was preparation. King. I was teaching you how to trust me through shadows so that one day you could help someone else find their way toward the light. King. You are entering a season that will require more than excitement. It will require discernment. It will require obedience. It will require you to keep your heart clean, even after you have been hurt. King. You cannot take revenge and call it victory. King. You cannot carry bitterness and expect it to produce peace. King. You cannot remain obsessed with the person who hurt you and still give your full attention to the future I am placing before you. King. So release them. King. Let me handle them. King. Mía es la venganza, dice el Señor. King. You do not have to fight this battle in the flesh. King. Be still and see my salvation. King. I know what they did. King. I know what they said. King. I know what they intended. King. I know the conversations you never heard and the plans you never knew existed. King. Nothing has been hidden from me. King. But your assignment is not to become consumed with their punishment. King. Your assignment is freedom. King. You are being released from the need to know every detail. King. You are being released from the need to prove that you were right. King. You are being released from the need to convince everyone that you were innocent. King. Let your life speak. King. The truth does not need your constant defense. I will vindicate you in ways that do not require you to destroy anyone else. Remember Joseph. His brothers betrayed him. He was sold, rejected, and eventually placed in circumstances he did not choose. Yet what looked like a devastating detour became part of the road toward his promotion. That is what I can do with your story. The pit was not the palace, but the pit did not prevent him from reaching the palace. The rejection was not the conclusion. The prison was not the conclusion. And your present difficulty is not the conclusion of your story either. You have been asking how a situation could possibly turn around. You have been asking how the financial pressure could be relieved. You have wondered whether the opportunity you lost would ever be replaced. You have wondered whether your peace could return after everything that happened. I am telling you to keep walking. The change may begin in a place you are not watching. A phone call may come. An email may arrive. A document may be approved. A delayed payment may be released. A new opportunity may appear. A person you have never met may become part of an important connection. A door you stopped expecting may suddenly open. You do not have to predict which one will happen. You only need to remain ready. Do not allow disappointment to make you blind to new possibilities. You have become so accustomed to expecting rejection that sometimes you may struggle to recognize an open door. When something good begins to happen, do not immediately assume it will disappear. Receive it with wisdom. Thank God for it. Use it responsibly. And allow yourself to believe that life can change. I am restoring your ability to hope. You have been living with your shoulders tense, always expecting the next problem. You have looked at your finances and calculated what might go wrong. You have worried about your family. You have worried about your future. You have wondered whether there would be enough. But I do not want fear to become the language of your life. You were created to live under favor, not under constant dread. That does not mean you will never face another challenge. It means you will no longer interpret every challenge as proof that you have been abandoned. You know better now. You have already seen me carry you. You have already survived things you once thought would destroy you. You have already watched doors close and later understood why they had to. You have already seen that people can leave and life can continue. You have already discovered that your strength is deeper than you thought. Now use what you learned. Do not go back to the same patterns simply because they are familiar. Do not accept the same treatment because you are afraid of being alone. Do not sacrifice your peace just to keep someone nearby. The next season will require healthier boundaries. You will need to know when to say yes and when to say no. You will need to know who can be trusted with your private life and who should remain at a distance. You will need to stop confusing someone's need for you with genuine love. You will need to pay attention to actions, not only words. This is part of your maturity. The person who betrayed you taught you something you did not want to learn, But the lesson does not have to be wasted. You can become wiser without becoming suspicious. You can become careful without becoming cold. You can forgive without reopening the door. You can move forward without pretending that the betrayal never happened. That is healing. And I am bringing healing into your emotions. The wound will not always feel as fresh as it does now. There will come a day when you can remember what happened without feeling your entire body react to it. There will come a day when their name no longer carries the power it once had. There will come a day when you realize that you have stopped checking what they are doing. You will simply no longer care. Not because you hate them, because you have moved beyond them. That is freedom. My beloved child, you have spent enough time wondering why someone chose to hurt you. Now I want you to understand what I am building through you. You are being prepared to become a source of strength for others. You know what rejection feels like. You know what betrayal feels like. You know what financial pressure feels like. You know what it feels like to pray while wondering whether anything is changing. That knowledge will allow you to recognize pain in someone else. You will know how to sit beside someone who is hurting without judging them. You will know how to encourage someone who has almost given up. You will know how to tell someone that their present circumstances are not their permanent identity. Your story will help someone else keep going. That is why your blessing is larger than you. Your restoration can reach your family. Your healing can influence your children. Your wisdom can protect the generations that follow you. Your testimony can become evidence that difficult seasons can be survived without losing your faith. You were not preserved simply to say, I made it. You were preserved so that what you learned can become useful. Your pain can become compassion. Your experience can become wisdom. Your recovery can become encouragement. And your prosperity can become a resource for good. That is why I am changing your relationship with blessing itself. You have prayed for financial increase, but I am also teaching you stewardship. If resources increase, use them wisely. Do not allow emotional exhaustion to make financial decisions for you. Do not spend merely because you finally have something. Do not let fear make every decision either. Plan. Prepare. Build. Use what you receive with understanding. The goal is not simply to see a larger number in your account. The goal is to experience greater stability, greater wisdom, greater peace, and greater capacity to fulfill your purpose. There is also a kingdom principle I want you to remember as you enter this new season. What you place into good ground can become part of something greater than yourself. Scripture teaches us that the one who sows generously will also reap generously. This is not a promise that giving is a transaction where you purchase a blessing from God. It is an invitation to live with an open and willing heart. If this message has encouraged you and you feel led to support the work behind these messages, you can use the support link in the description or pinned comment. Give freely and prayerfully, according to what you are able to give. Your support can help these words of faith reach another person who may be praying through a difficult season right now. Sow with love, give without pressure, and trust God with the harvest. You have asked me for abundance. Prepare yourself to handle it. You have asked me for influence. Prepare yourself to carry it with humility. You have asked me for open doors. Prepare yourself to walk through them with wisdom. You have asked me for restoration. Prepare yourself to protect what is restored. This is why the process has taken time. I was not only preparing the blessing. I was preparing the person who would receive it. And now you are changing. You are becoming less dependent on people's approval. You are becoming more comfortable with boundaries. You are learning to recognize manipulation. You are learning to hear the difference between genuine correction and malicious criticism. You are learning that peace is valuable. You are learning that not every argument deserves your response. You are learning that silence can sometimes protect what explanation would expose. You are learning when to walk away. These lessons will serve you. The next chapter will require them. There will be opportunities that look attractive, but carry the wrong people. There will be relationships that feel familiar, but lead you backward. There will be situations that offer quick comfort, but create long-term confusion. You need discernment. Ask for wisdom before you ask for speed. A fast opportunity is not automatically a good opportunity. A large amount of money is not automatically a blessing. A familiar person is not automatically a safe person. A closed door is not automatically rejection. Learn to see beyond appearances. You have already learned how dangerous appearances can be. Someone smiled at you while speaking against you. Someone accepted your kindness while secretly resenting your progress. Someone received your support while hoping you would fail. You do not need to become paranoid because of this. You need to become discerning. There is a difference. Fear tells you everyone is dangerous. Wisdom teaches you to recognize patterns. Fear makes you hide. Wisdom teaches you boundaries. Fear makes you suspicious. Wisdom makes you attentive. I am giving you wisdom. Use it. The person who tried to interfere with your future cannot follow you into every room. Their influence is ending. The access they once had is being removed. The doors they used to reach you are closing. The emotional control they once had over you is weakening. And you are beginning to understand that you can live without their approval. That realization is part of your freedom. You no longer need them to admit what they did. You no longer need an apology before you can heal. You no longer need them to understand your value. I knew your value before they did. I knew who you were before they formed their opinion. And I loved you before they ever had the opportunity to hurt you. That is why you must stop allowing their judgment to define you. Their words were never your identity. Their rejection was never your destiny. Their jealousy was never evidence that you should become smaller. You do not need to dim your light to make someone else comfortable. King. The blessing I place on your life does not need another person's permission. King. The calling I placed within you does not need their agreement. King. The purpose I gave you does not require their approval. King. Keep walking. King. There will be people who misunderstand you. King. There will be people who do not celebrate you. King. There will be people who see your progress and become uncomfortable. King. You cannot control that. King. What you can control is how you respond. King. Do not answer jealousy with jealousy. King. Do not answer hatred with hatred. King. Do not answer gossip with gossip. King. Do not become the very thing that wounded you. King. Stay clean in your heart. King. Stay honest in your actions. King. Stay humble when the doors open. King. That will protect you far more than revenge ever could. King. And when your restoration becomes visible, do not use it as a weapon. King. You do not need to parade your blessing in front of people who doubted you. King. You do not need to make your success a message aimed at your enemies. King. Simply live. King. Simply grow. King. Simply receive what God gives you. King. Your peace will be enough. King. Your stability will be enough. King. Your healing will be enough. King. Your joy will be enough. King. One day, the people who expected you to remain broken may see that you are standing again. King. But their reaction is not the reason you stand. King. You stand because God sustained you. King. You stand because you kept going. King. You stand because the pain did not have the final word. King. You stand because there was still purpose ahead. King. And your life can become a living testimony of that truth. King. The enemy wanted the betrayal to make you stop trusting God. King. Instead, you learned to trust Him more deeply. King. The enemy wanted financial pressure to make you panic. King. Instead, you learned to seek wisdom. King. The enemy wanted rejection to make you believe you were worthless. King. Instead, you learned that your value cannot be determined by another person's acceptance. King. The enemy wanted loneliness to make you desperate. King. Instead, you learned to wait. King. What was meant to weaken you became part of your training. King. That is the reversal. King. Not simply that circumstances change, but that what was intended to destroy your faith becomes part of what strengthens it. King. This is why you must stop looking at yourself only through the lens of what happened. King. Look at who you are becoming. King. You are more discerning. King. You are more compassionate. King. You are more patient. King. You are more aware. King. You are more willing to walk away from what does not produce peace. King. You are learning to trust without demanding complete understanding. King. That is growth. King. And growth is often uncomfortable before it becomes beautiful. King. My beloved child, there is still something you need to release. King. You need to release the belief that you must understand everything before you can move forward. King. You may never know every conversation that happened behind your back. King. You may never hear every word that was spoken. King. You may never receive the apology you deserved. King. You may never understand why someone chose envy when they could have chosen friendship. King. But you can still move forward. King. Peace does not require complete information. King. Sometimes peace comes from knowing that God knows. King. Let that be enough. I know. King, I saw. King, I heard. King, and I am able to handle what you cannot. King, so stop carrying evidence you were never asked to carry. King, stop investigating every detail. King, stop replaying every conversation. King, stop wondering what they meant. King, stop trying to decode every silence. King, give your mind permission to rest. King, you have spent enough nights analyzing people. King, spend some time listening to God. King, spend some time rebuilding your life. King, spend some time becoming healthy in your thinking. King, spend some time dreaming again. King, because there is more ahead. King, the future you were afraid you lost is not necessarily gone. King, some dreams may return in a different form. King, some opportunities may return better prepared. King, some doors may open that you never considered. King, some prayers you stopped mentioning may receive answers in ways you could not have predicted. King, do not limit God to the method you expected. King, you prayed for one door. King, he may open another. King, you prayed for one person. King, he may remove that person and bring a healthier connection. King, you prayed for one financial solution. King, he may lead you toward an entirely different opportunity. King, you prayed for restoration of what was lost. King, he may give you something new that makes you understand why the old thing had to go. King, stay open. King, do not tell God how the answer must look. King, ask for wisdom to recognize it when it arrives. King, and when the opportunity comes, do not sabotage it by assuming you are still living in the old season. King, you are not. King, the old chapter taught you. King, the new chapter will require you to apply what you learned. King, you are walking into rooms where you once thought you would never belong. King, you are approaching opportunities you once believed were beyond you. King, you are beginning to see that rejection from one place does not mean rejection everywhere. King, one person saying no does not mean your entire future has said no. King, one employer rejecting you does not mean you are unemployable. King, one relationship ending does not mean you are unlovable. King, one financial setback does not mean you will always struggle. King, one betrayal does not mean everyone will betray you. King, do not let one chapter become your prophecy for every chapter that follows. King, that is fear speaking. King, I am teaching you a different way. King, you can move forward with wisdom and hope at the same time. King, and I am restoring your ability to hope. King, hope is returning. King, your laughter will return. King, your confidence will return. King, your ability to make plans without expecting disaster will return. King, you will sleep without replaying every conversation. King, you will wake without immediately worrying about what could go wrong. King, you will begin to enjoy your life again. King, that is part of the miracle. King, not only the money. King, not only the opportunity. King, not only the open door. King, peace is part of restoration too. King, a healed mind is part of restoration. King, a healthy relationship is part of restoration. King, a heart that can forgive without returning to abuse is part of restoration. King, wisdom is part of restoration. King, and when these things begin coming together, you will realize that the greatest blessing was not simply escaping the person who hurt you. King, The greatest blessing was becoming free from the power their actions once had over you. You are leaving their shadow. You are entering the light. And this time, you will not need anyone else's permission to shine. I am holding you steady. You will not fall because someone else is disappointed by your growth. You will not collapse because someone no longer approves of you. You will not abandon your purpose because someone speaks against you. You have learned too much. You have come too far. And there are people waiting for the testimony that will come from your perseverance. Keep going. Your future is not controlled by the person who tried to sabotage it. Your future is in God's hands. And if you want to remain connected to prophetic words like this, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Every time you return, you are making room to receive encouragement, faith, and reminders of God's promises for your journey. Subscribe today and stay connected to this community as you continue walking into your God-ordained season. And the God who sustained you through the hidden battle is now teaching you how to walk openly in the freedom that came from surviving it. Now that you understand that freedom is the real victory, I want you to see what is happening next. The person who tried to interfere with your destiny may have moved in secret, but their intentions were never hidden from me. I saw what happened when they smiled at you. I saw what happened after you walked away. I saw the words they spoke when you could not defend yourself. I saw every attempt to manipulate your peace, interfere with your calling, and delay your financial progress. You do not have to uncover every detail. You do not have to chase the truth from one person to another. I know the truth already. And because I know it, you can rest. The person who once had influence over your emotions is losing that influence. The access they once had is closing. The doors through which they reached your life are being sealed. What they once used to create confusion will no longer control your direction. You are coming out from under their shadow. You are stepping into my light. And the light I give you does not depend on another person's approval. What I have placed inside you cannot be canceled because someone became jealous. Your calling cannot be erased because someone spoke against you. Your future cannot be destroyed because someone tried to manipulate a situation. They saw your light and wanted it dimmed. They saw your progress and wanted it slowed. They saw your blessings and wished they had been theirs. But they forgot something important. I gave you that light. I gave you that calling. And what I give, no human being has the authority to remove. Their plans have failed. Their influence has weakened. And the very things they said to discourage you will eventually become part of the evidence that you continued anyway. You will rise without needing to push anyone down. You will prosper without needing another person to fail. You will receive favor without needing to prove that they were wrong. That is the kind of victory I am bringing into your life. I am not teaching you to celebrate another person's destruction. I am teaching you how to walk so securely in your purpose that their behavior no longer determines your emotional state. Your peace will become stronger. Your discernment will become sharper. Your confidence will become steadier. and your heart will become lighter. King. There are dreams you stopped talking about because disappointment made you afraid to hope again. You had plans once. You had ideas. You imagined a different future. Then rejection came. Financial pressure came. Betrayal came. One disappointment followed another, and eventually you began lowering your expectations so that you would not be hurt again. I am restoring your courage. I am restoring your vision. I am restoring your confidence. The dream you buried because you were afraid may not be finished. The part of you that became quiet is beginning to speak again. You are remembering what once made you excited. You are thinking about possibilities again. You are beginning to believe that your future can still be meaningful. Do not be ashamed of that hope. Hope is not foolishness. Faith is not pretending that difficulties do not exist. Faith is choosing to continue even when the entire picture has not been revealed. You do not need to see the whole staircase before taking the next step. I will illuminate the step in front of you. And when you take it, I will show you the next one. You have spent enough time trying to understand what other people were doing. Now I want you to pay attention to what I am doing in you. I am giving you clarity. You will become less confused about who belongs in your life. You will become less anxious about every decision. You will become more comfortable saying no. You will stop feeling guilty for protecting your peace. You will understand that boundaries are not hatred. Distance is not always bitterness. Walking away is not always defeat. Sometimes obedience looks like leaving. Sometimes wisdom looks like silence. Sometimes faith means trusting God enough to stop forcing something to remain. You have tried to hold together relationships that were already falling apart. You tried to explain yourself to people who had already decided what they wanted to believe. You tried to prove your heart to people who were committed to misunderstanding it. You can stop now. Let them think what they choose. Let them tell their version. You know who you are. More importantly, I know who you are. You do not need to spend your life correcting every false story. Your character will eventually speak. Your work will speak. Your consistency will speak. Your fruit will speak. And when your life produces what I have placed within you, many arguments will become unnecessary. You will understand why silence was sometimes more powerful than a response. You will understand why I did not allow every accusation to be answered immediately. There are battles you win by refusing to participate in them. There are people you defeat simply by refusing to become like them. There are accusations you silence by continuing to live with integrity. That is what I am teaching you. And while I am teaching you, I am also bringing financial restoration into your life. You have prayed about money for longer than most people know. You have worried about bills. You have wondered whether you would have enough. You have looked at your responsibilities and wondered how everything would come together. You have prayed for relief. You have asked for a breakthrough. You have asked for a way out of cycles that seemed impossible to escape. I heard those prayers. King, I have not ignored them. King, there are financial matters that have been delayed, and you have wondered whether they would ever move. King, now I am bringing movement. King, some payments will be released. King, some opportunities will appear. King, some conversations will turn in your favor. King, some doors will open after you stopped expecting them to. King, you may encounter opportunities you did not know were available. King, you may receive help from a direction you never considered. King, you may find that a situation you thought was permanently closed begins to change. King, remain attentive. King, do not assume the answer has to look exactly like the prayer you prayed. King, sometimes you ask for one thing, and I provide something greater through another route. King, sometimes the door you begged me to open is the very door I am protecting you from. King, sometimes the person you asked me to keep is the person I am asking you to release. King, sometimes the delay you hated is the reason you are ready for what comes next. King, trust my wisdom. King, I see the entire road. King, you see the next few steps. King, that difference matters. King, there are blessings you once wanted that you were not ready to carry. King, there are relationships you wanted that would have demanded too much of your peace. King, there are opportunities you wanted that would have connected you to people who did not belong in your future. King, I was protecting you even when you thought I was withholding from you. King, now you will begin to understand some of those closed doors. King, you will look back and say, thank God that did not happen. King, you will remember something you once cried over and realize it was a rescue. King, you will remember someone you desperately wanted to keep and realize their departure created room for peace. King, you will remember a rejection that embarrassed you and realize it redirected you. King, that is how perspective changes when healing comes. King, the same memory can remain, but its meaning changes. King, you once saw the wound. King, later you will see the lesson. King, eventually you will see the grace. King, my beloved child, you are entering a season where your life can become evidence of divine restoration. King, you will walk into rooms that once seemed inaccessible. King, you will encounter people who value what you bring. King, you will receive opportunities you did not have to beg for. King, you will experience moments when you realize that the door opened without you forcing it. King, that is favor. King, not because you manipulated the situation. King, not because you defeated someone else. King, because the right opportunity arrived at the right time. King, you will also begin to see how quickly some things can change. King, a situation can remain still for months and then move within days. King, a person can ignore you for a long time and suddenly respond. King, an application can remain pending and then receive approval. King, a financial matter can remain delayed and then become active. King, a relationship can move from confusion to clarity. King, do not let the length of the waiting period convince you that nothing can change. King, Joseph's story changed. King, Esther's story changed. King, the sea opened. King, the lions' mouths were closed. King, the loaves were multiplied. King, God has never needed circumstances to look favorable before he begins moving. King, and I am still able to work through circumstances you cannot control. King, you have also been worried about what people will say when your life changes. You wondered whether their lies would affect your future. You feared that someone else's version of you would become more powerful than the truth. But no lie can cancel what God has established. People can repeat an accusation, but repetition does not turn falsehood into truth. You do not have to spend every day defending your name. There will be moments when your evidence becomes stronger than their accusation. There will be opportunities that speak louder than their criticism. There will be fruit that makes their words irrelevant. And when that happens, do not become proud. Stay humble. Remember the nights when you had nothing but faith. Remember the moments when you cried without telling anyone. Remember the times when you wondered whether you would ever see better days. Those memories should not make you bitter. They should make you grateful. Your restoration should make you compassionate toward people who are still waiting for theirs. You know what it feels like to wait. You know what it feels like to have no clear answer. You know what it feels like to wonder whether anyone sees your struggle. So when you finally rise, do not forget those still sitting in the valley. Your blessing can become a bridge for someone else. Your testimony can become encouragement. Your resources can become help. Your experience can become wisdom. That is why your breakthrough is not only about you. There is a generational dimension to what I am doing in your life. Your children can experience a healthier version of what you learned. Your family can benefit from the wisdom you gained. The cycles that once seemed normal can stop with you. You can establish new patterns, new ways of communicating, new ways of handling money, new ways of setting boundaries, new ways of responding to conflict, new ways of praying, new ways of trusting. You are not required to pass every wound you inherited to the next generation. Some cycles end when one person decides they will not continue them. You can be that person. You can become the one who says, "This stops with me." That is part of being chosen. Being chosen does not mean you will never experience difficulty. It means difficulty does not get to decide what you become. The pressure you survived can produce strength. The betrayal you survived can produce discernment. The financial struggle you survived can produce wisdom. The loneliness you survived can produce compassion. And when you think about your needs, remember the promise of Philippians 4:19. God is able to supply what you need according to his riches in glory through Christ Jesus. Your provision does not begin with what another person can give you. It begins with God. People may become channels, opportunities may become doors, and unexpected resources may appear. But your confidence should remain in the one who provides. If you would like to support this ministry and help these messages continue reaching people, you can find the donation and support link in the description or pinned comment. Give only as you feel led, and never from fear or pressure. Let your giving be an expression of gratitude and a way of helping this message reach someone who may need hope today. Trust the provider more than the provision. What you need is already known to him. The waiting you survived can produce patience. And now these qualities are becoming part of what you carry. You are not walking into your future empty-handed. You are carrying lessons. You are carrying wisdom. You are carrying experience. You are carrying faith. And you are carrying a testimony. There is something else I want you to understand. You do not need to be afraid of being visible again. For a while, hiding felt safer. You thought that if you stayed quiet, nobody could attack you. If you stopped sharing your dreams, nobody could criticize them. If you stopped expecting anything, disappointment could not hurt as much. But hiding forever is not healing. There comes a time when you have to step into the light again. I am bringing you out of hiding. Not because you need attention. Because your purpose requires participation. You cannot help people from a place of permanent fear. You cannot build what you were called to build while constantly expecting betrayal. You cannot receive healthy relationships while assuming everyone has hidden motives. Wisdom protects you. Fear imprisons you. Choose wisdom. Choose peace. Choose courage. There may still be moments when your body remembers the old stress. Your heart may race when something reminds you of the past. You may hesitate when someone offers you an opportunity, because you are afraid there is another hidden cost. Take your time. You do not have to rush. You can pray. You can ask questions. You can examine the situation. You can seek wise counsel. You can make decisions without fear. You are allowed to move carefully. But do not allow caution to become a permanent refusal to live. You have survived. Now you must learn to live again. There is joy waiting for you. There are ordinary moments that will become precious again. You will laugh without forcing it. You will enjoy your home. You will have conversations without wondering whether every word will be used against you. You will sleep more peacefully. You will wake with less fear. You will make plans for the future because you will believe that tomorrow is worth preparing for. That is restoration too. The miracle is not always dramatic. Sometimes the miracle is waking up and realizing you are no longer afraid. Sometimes it is paying a bill without panic. Sometimes it is hearing good news and being able to receive it without expecting immediate disaster. Sometimes it is trusting someone again while still maintaining healthy boundaries. Sometimes it is forgiving yourself. Sometimes it is simply smiling again. Do not underestimate these things. They are evidence that healing is taking root. And as healing takes root, I am also preparing you for greater responsibility. The next level of your life will require more discipline. You cannot build a new future with the habits that kept you trapped in the old one. You will need to manage your time. You will need to manage your resources. You will need to protect your attention. You will need to stop allowing every person's emergency to become your emergency. You will need to understand that saying yes to everything is not generosity if it destroys your ability to fulfill your own assignment. Learn to steward what I place in your hands. Your time is a resource. King. Your energy is a resource. King. Your attention is a resource. King. Your money is a resource. King. Your relationships are a resource. King. Do not distribute them without wisdom. King. There are people who became comfortable receiving from you without valuing you. King. That pattern is ending. King. You are learning reciprocity. King. You are learning healthy relationships. King. You are learning that love should not always require you to empty yourself. King. You are learning that generosity can exist alongside boundaries. King. This is maturity. King. And it will prepare you for the opportunities ahead. King. Because greater blessing without greater wisdom can become another burden. King. I do not want your increase to become another source of anxiety. King. I want you to enjoy what I give while managing it responsibly. King. You prayed for overflow. King. Prepare for stewardship. King. You prayed for open doors. King. Prepare for responsibility. King. You prayed for influence. King. Prepare for humility. King. You prayed for healing. King. Prepare to help others heal. King. This is why the process has been deeper than you expected. King. I was not simply changing your circumstances. King. I was preparing your character for the circumstances you prayed for. King. Now the pieces are beginning to come together. King. The person who tried to stop you will not understand how you continued. King. They may wonder why their words did not destroy you. King. They may wonder why you did not remain in the place where they expected you to stay. King. They may wonder how your life began improving after they walked away. King. But you do not need to answer those questions. King. Let them wonder. King. You keep walking. King. You keep building. King. You keep praying. King. You keep becoming. King. You keep your heart clean. King. You do not need to turn your success into revenge. King. Your success can simply be obedience. King. Your peace can simply be evidence of healing. King. Your abundance can simply be stewardship. King. Your joy can simply be gratitude. King. That is enough. King. And when you look back one day, you will understand that the battle was never designed to have the final word. King. The betrayal was painful, but it was not the end. King. The rejection was humiliating, but it was not the end. King. The financial struggle was frightening, but it was not the end. King. The loneliness was heavy, but it was not the end. King. The delay was frustrating, but it was not the end. King. You are still here. King. And there is still purpose ahead. King. My beloved child, I want you to remember this when the next challenge comes. Do not immediately assume that difficulty means you are moving in the wrong direction. King. Sometimes resistance accompanies growth. King. Sometimes discomfort accompanies change. King. Sometimes a closed door is protection. King. Sometimes a difficult season is preparation. King. Ask for wisdom before you ask for escape. King. Ask me what the season is producing in you. King. Ask what you need to learn. King. Ask what you need to release. King. Ask what needs to change. King. And then move forward. King. You are not walking alone. King. I am with you. King. You have my presence. King. You have my guidance. King. You have the strength that has already been developed through everything you have survived. King. And you have the opportunity to become someone who does not merely talk about faith, but lives it. King. You have already learned that faith is not always loud. King. Sometimes faith is getting out of bed when your heart is tired. King. Sometimes faith is paying what you can and trusting God with what you cannot control. King. Sometimes faith is forgiving someone who never apologized. King. Sometimes faith is refusing to become bitter. King. Sometimes faith is taking another step after disappointment. King. Sometimes faith is saying, I still trust you when you do not understand. King. Those are the moments that formed you. King. And now they will serve you. King. The same courage that helped you survive can help you build. King. The same faith that carried you through the valley can carry you into the next season. King. The same wisdom that helped you recognize the wrong relationship can help you recognize the right one. King. The same discipline you learned through scarcity can help you steward abundance. King. Nothing was wasted. King. Your story is still being written. King. And this time, you are not writing from fear. King. You are moving from wisdom. King. You are moving from healing. King. You are moving from faith. King. You are moving toward freedom. King. So do not look backward for permission to move forward. King. You do not need the person who hurt you to release you. King. You do not need their apology to heal. King. You do not need their approval to prosper. King. You do not need their recognition to fulfill your purpose. King. I already know who you are. King. You are my beloved child. King. And the next chapter will not be controlled by the person who tried to sabotage the last one. King. Keep your eyes forward. King. Keep your heart clean. King. Keep your hands open. King. What I restore, I want you to steward. King. What I remove, I want you to release. King. What I open, I want you to enter with courage. King. And what I close, I want you to leave without looking back. King. The battle taught you how to stand. King. Now the next season will teach you how to walk. King. And you are ready. King. You have passed the test. King. Now the question is what you will do with everything this season taught you. King. You have learned that not every battle requires your response. You have learned that not every person deserves access to your heart. You have learned that forgiveness can coexist with boundaries, and that walking away can sometimes be an act of wisdom rather than defeat. King. Most importantly, you have learned that God can keep you even when you cannot see what is happening around you. King. The hidden conversations did not escape his notice. King. The betrayal did not escape his notice. King. The financial pressure did not escape his notice. King. The nights when you cried quietly did not escape his notice. King. The prayers you whispered when you had no strength left did not escape his notice. King. You are still standing. King. And that is where this chapter begins to change. King. My beloved child, do not carry the old battle into the new season. You have already learned what you needed to learn from it. Take the wisdom with you, but leave the fear behind. King. Take the discernment with you, but leave the suspicion behind. King. Take the strength with you, but leave the bitterness behind. King. Take the faith with you, but leave the constant expectation of disaster behind. King. You do not have to live as though another betrayal is waiting around every corner. King. You can walk carefully without walking afraid. King. You can love wisely. King. You can trust gradually. King. You can establish boundaries. King. You can listen to your spirit. King. And you can keep moving. King. The person who tried to interfere with your future does not get to determine how you live the rest of your life. King. Their actions belong to their story. King. Your response belongs to yours. King. So let the past remain where it belongs. King. You have a future to build. King. There are opportunities ahead that require your attention. There are relationships that need your wisdom. There are responsibilities that require your discipline. There are people who will need the encouragement that only someone who has walked through this kind of pain can give. King. You have been prepared for more than survival. King. You have been prepared to carry purpose. King. The pain you experienced does not need to be meaningless. It can become compassion. The lessons can become wisdom. The restoration can become a testimony. King. You can look at what happened without allowing it to control you. King. That is what freedom looks like. King. And remember what happened with Joseph. His brothers thought they were determining his future when they betrayed him. But they were not the authors of his destiny. The pit did not become his permanent home. The prison did not become his identity. King. His story continued until he reached the place prepared for him. King. Your circumstances can change too. King. You may still have questions today. King. You may still have financial concerns. King. You may still be waiting for certain doors to open. King. You may still be healing from something someone did. King. But waiting does not mean nothing is happening. King. There are things you cannot see yet. King. There are decisions being made beyond your current view. King. There are opportunities developing. King. There are relationships that have not yet entered your life. King. There are possibilities you have not considered. King. So stay awake to what is new. King. Do not allow yesterday's disappointment to make you reject tomorrow's opportunity. King. If something good arrives, examine it with wisdom. King. If a door opens, pray about it. King. If a new relationship appears, allow trust to develop through consistent actions. King. If financial provision comes, steward it carefully. King. If a promotion comes, carry it with humility. King. If influence increases, use it to help rather than to prove something. King. You are entering a season where your character matters as much as your circumstances. King. The blessing is not only about what you receive. King. It is about who you become while carrying it. King. You asked for restoration. King. Now protect your peace. King. You asked for abundance. King. Now learn stewardship. King. You asked for influence. King. Now remain humble. King. You asked for open doors. King. Now walk through them with discernment. King. You asked for healing. King. Now allow your healing to make you compassionate toward others. King. This is why the process mattered. King. The process was not simply about getting you out of trouble. King. It was about preparing you for responsibility. King. And I want you to remember that when the next door opens, King, do not rush simply because you have waited a long time. King. Do not accept something merely because you are tired of waiting. King. A good opportunity still requires wisdom. King. A new relationship still requires discernment. King. A financial increase still requires stewardship. King. A position of influence still requires humility. King. Do not let the pain of scarcity make you careless with abundance. King. Do not let the loneliness of yesterday make you accept the wrong person today. King. Do not let rejection make you desperate for approval. King. You have learned better. King. You know better now. King. And that knowledge is part of your protection. King. My beloved child, you do not need to know the name of every person who opposed you in order to be free. King. You do not need to discover every secret conversation. King. You do not need to hear every accusation. King. You do not need to watch what happens to those who hurt you. King. Let God handle what belongs to God. King. Your freedom is more important than their downfall. King. Your peace is more valuable than an explanation. King. Your future is more important than yesterday's argument. King. So release the need to know everything. King. If the truth becomes clear, receive it with wisdom. King. If it remains unclear, trust God with what you cannot see. King. Either way, keep moving. King. The purpose of revelation is freedom, not obsession. King. The purpose of discernment is wisdom, not fear. King. The purpose of forgiveness is release, not permission for someone to keep hurting you. King. You can forgive and still walk away. King. You can pray for someone and still maintain distance. King. You can release resentment without pretending that what happened was as acceptable. King. You can choose peace without denying the truth. King. And you can move forward without carrying hatred. King. That is the freedom being offered to you. Now make this personal. Write, "I choose freedom" in the comments. You are not declaring that the pain never happened. You are declaring that it will no longer control where your life goes next. King. You have already spent too much energy trying to understand people who were committed to misunderstanding you. King. Now use that energy to build. King. Build your faith. King. Build your future. King. Build healthy relationships. King. Build better habits. King. Build financial stability. King. Build your calling. King. Build something that can outlive the season that tried to destroy you. King. Your blessing is larger than your pain. King. Your assignment is larger than the betrayal. King. Your future is larger than the opinions of those who opposed you. King. And the same God who kept you when you were vulnerable can keep you when you become visible. King. Do not fear success because you remember what jealousy looked like. King. Do not fear being noticed because someone once tried to use your visibility against you. King. Do not hide the gifts God placed inside you because someone else became uncomfortable with them. King. You can shine without becoming arrogant. King. You can prosper without becoming proud. King. You can become visible without becoming controlled by attention. King. You can receive without forgetting where your help came from. King. Stay grounded. King. Stay prayerful. King. Stay humble. King. And keep your heart open. King. There is still a purpose attached to your story. King. You have survived things that once seemed impossible. King. Now someone else may need the strength that came from your survival. King. One day, a person may come to you carrying the same kind of pain you once carried. King. They may feel rejected. King. They may feel betrayed. King. They may be worried about money. King. They may wonder whether God has forgotten them. King. You will be able to tell them, "Keep going." King. Not because you heard the words somewhere, but because you lived them. King. You will know what it means to pray while waiting. King. You will know what it means to forgive while still healing. King. You will know what it means to trust when the outcome is uncertain. King. Your testimony can become a source of courage. And remember this, the blessing in your hands was never meant to stop with you. Scripture reminds us not to forget doing good and sharing with others, because such acts are pleasing to God. King. You know what it feels like to need encouragement. You know what it feels like to wonder whether anyone sees what you are going through. That is why your testimony can become more than a story about what you survived. It can become a source of strength for someone else. If you feel moved to help this message, continue reaching people who need encouragement. There is a support link in the description and pinned comment. Whatever you choose to give, let it come from a willing heart and from a desire to help good work continue. Sometimes the provision God places in one person's hands becomes an answer to someone else's prayer. That is one reason your blessing is bigger than you. Your family can benefit from your healing. Your children can benefit from your wisdom. The people connected to you can benefit from the boundaries you learned. Your generosity can help someone who is struggling. Your story can remind someone that a painful chapter does not have to become the entire book. So, when your restoration becomes visible, remember where you came from. Do not mock the person who is still waiting. Do not forget what it felt like to have less. Do not forget the nights when you needed encouragement. Let your increase make you more compassionate. Let your healing make you more patient. Let your testimony make you more generous. And let your peace become evidence that you chose freedom instead of revenge. You do not need to prove that the people who hurt you were wrong. You only need to become healthy enough that their opinion no longer controls you. That is victory. The greatest victory is not watching someone who betrayed you struggle. The greatest victory is realizing you no longer need to watch them at all. You have moved on. Your attention has changed. Your heart has changed. Your priorities have changed. You are looking forward now. And there is something powerful about looking forward after spending so long looking backward. You begin to notice possibilities. You begin to notice people who genuinely support you. You begin to recognize opportunities. You begin to enjoy ordinary moments again. You begin to sleep more peacefully. You begin to make plans. You begin to dream. You begin to believe that tomorrow is worth preparing for. That is restoration. Sometimes restoration looks like a financial breakthrough. Sometimes it looks like a healthy relationship. Sometimes it looks like an opportunity. Sometimes it looks like a peaceful night. Sometimes it looks like waking up and realizing that the person who once occupied your thoughts no longer does. Sometimes the miracle is simply being free. And I want that freedom for you. My beloved child, keep your hands open. Release what I have asked you to release. Receive what I place before you. Do not hold tightly to what is leaving. Do not chase what I have removed. Do not reopen doors that were closed for your protection. And when a new door opens, do not walk through it carrying the fear of the old one. You are allowed to begin again. You are allowed to trust again. You are allowed to hope again. King. You are allowed to dream again. King. You are allowed to experience joy without waiting for something terrible to happen. King. You are allowed to believe that good things can remain. If you are ready to receive peace instead of fear, type Amen below. Let it be your declaration that you are no longer expecting yesterday's pain to decide tomorrow's story. King. You are allowed to receive love without assuming it will become betrayal. King. You are allowed to build without expecting everything to collapse. King. Healing means your heart learns that the past is not automatically the future. King. And you are learning that now. King. The battle strengthened your discernment. King. The waiting strengthened your patience. King. The rejection strengthened your identity. King. The financial pressure taught you stewardship. King. The betrayal taught you boundaries. King. The loneliness taught you dependence on God. King. The entire season shaped you. King. Nothing needs to be wasted. King. Even the difficult parts can become wisdom. King. So walk forward. King. Not with arrogance. King. Not with revenge. King. Not with fear. King. Walk with faith. King. Walk with wisdom. King. Walk with humility. King. Walk with courage. King. And when you see the first signs of change, give thanks. King. When the call comes, give thanks. King. When the email arrives, give thanks. King. When the opportunity appears, give thanks. King. When the financial burden begins to lift, give thanks. King. When your peace returns, give thanks. King. When your relationships become healthier, give thanks. King. Do not wait until everything is perfect before recognizing progress. King. Thank God for every step. King. There is something else I want you to remember. King. You do not have to understand exactly how your future will unfold. King. You only need enough faith for the next step. King. The next step may be small. King. It may be making one wise decision. King. It may be forgiving someone. King. It may be setting a boundary. King. It may be applying for something again. King. It may be starting the work you postponed. King. It may be saving the money you were tempted to spend. King. It may be resting instead of constantly worrying. King. It may be trusting God with a situation you cannot control. King. Take the next step. King. Then take another. King. That is how a new season is built. King. Not always through one dramatic moment, but through many faithful decisions. King. And eventually you look back and realize that you are somewhere completely different. King. That is what can happen now. King. The same person who once cried in secret can become someone who encourages others. King. The same person who once feared financial collapse can become someone who manages resources with wisdom. King. The same person who once felt rejected can become someone who knows their value. King. The same person who once lived under suspicion can become someone who walks in discernment and peace. King. That transformation is already underway. King. You have passed the test. King. Now live from what you learned. King. Do not return to the chains simply because they are familiar. King. Do not return to the relationship simply because you missed the good moments. King. Do not return to the mindset that kept you afraid. King. You are moving forward. King. And when the past calls, you do not have to answer. King. Your future is calling louder. King. My beloved child, let this be your prayer. King. Lord, help me release what I cannot control. Give me wisdom to recognize what belongs in my life and courage to walk away from what does not. Heal the places where betrayal wounded me. Restore my peace. Give me discernment without fear, forgiveness without compromise, and strength without bitterness. Teach me to steward every blessing wisely and to remain humble when doors open. Guide my finances, my relationships, my decisions, and my next steps. Let my life become evidence of your faithfulness. Turn what was painful into wisdom, what was lost into growth, and what was delayed into an opportunity to trust you more deeply. Keep my heart clean and my eyes forward. Amen. If this prayer reflects what you are carrying, leave a simple Amen in the comment. Let it be your quiet declaration that you are choosing faith, healing, wisdom, and freedom as you move forward. And if someone you care about is walking through betrayal, financial pressure, rejection, or a season of uncertainty, share this message with them. Sometimes one encouraging word reaches someone at exactly the moment they need it. If this video helped you, you can also like it and subscribe to the channel if you want to continue receiving messages like this. My beloved child, you do not have to carry yesterday into tomorrow. The battle may have shaped you, but it does not own you. The betrayal may have wounded you, but it does not define you. The delay may have tested you, but it does not determine your future. You are still here. You are still growing. You are still being guided. And there is still purpose ahead. If you want to go deeper into this message, the link is available in the description and pinned comment. The support link is also available there for anyone who wants to help this channel continue growing and reaching more people. Now breathe deeply and let your heart become quiet. You do not have to fight every battle. You do not have to explain yourself to everyone. You do not have to carry the weight of what God has already asked you to release. Walk forward with clean hands, an open heart, and steady faith. What is behind you can teach you, but it does not have to follow you. Your story is still moving forward. Your purpose is still alive. Your future is still worth believing in. And the God who carried you through the darkest part of the journey will remain with you as you step into the light. You have passed the test. Now walk in peace. Amen.